I want to show you some amazing photos from the old world, the ancient world. Look at this. This is so amazing. Look at how they do this in stone. And look at these giant, the Easter Island, giant stone statues in the middle of nowhere. How they do this back in the day when they had no technology. Look at the precision, how this is cut. With this, you need titanium or something. You need like diamonds to cut this with laser and machines. Look at this. How they do this in primitive times with horses and buggy and no machines and no technology. Or for example, these stones, which are perfectly cut in perfect angles, and you need proper machines and technology and lasers and computers and stuff. You can't do this by hand only. This is something we do today, and it's still something that you need proper technology to do. Or like these kind of like, they look like wheels that have done this in the ground, and when they do this and what time and how they do it. And there's all these spheres. This is not something that you would find in either it is like natural, well, a giant tree or something, or you do it artificially, but you need proper machines and proper technology. You just can't do that simply with hammer and sizzle. Or like these things in the stone, which again, they look more like machine made. Or like in ancient Egypt, they recreated this to look like light bulbs and electricity and batteries. As you know, we've seen this in ancient Egypt as well. It had electricity and electric energy with the light bulbs and batteries. It's awesome. Like these huge blocks of stones with like lots of tons. To move this, even if you use all like your military and horses, and it's impossible. So how do you do that in ancient times? Like several of these places in the middle of nowhere, as if they were cut. You need proper machines and proper heavy artillery machines to do this. Or like these temples, is this like done with the hammer and sizzle manually, and then we have like these perfect human bodies, especially the big majority of them are like women with boobs and good bodies. So I just wonder like if they also cared about sexuality and stuff. And do you do this with machines or like with hammer and sizzle with hand in times where there's no technology? These huge blocks of stone with tons and tons of weight, and how do you move them? How do you cut them in those ancient times? Or like these places in the middle of the mountain and the rocks carved. How do you do that? And why would you do that if you're a primitive humanity with no resources and stuff? Like these places which are like sometimes inside the interior walls of the temples, and this is proper construction methods that we use today, and even for today's standards it's strictly too impossible and too difficult to do. Carvings in the middle of nowhere in the deserts or like in the mountains like this, there's just like holes, which it's proper technology of like penetration to the rocks and the stuff. So you need proper machinery, tech to do this. Look at this. Sometimes with like melted technology and these blocks of stone, and you don't just like find this in the middle of nowhere. And they say, well, it's ancient tribes that did this for religious purposes. I like more like technology, like these ancient huge megalithic stones in Egypt. Look at like the carvings, the shapes, and the angles and the cuts and the curves and everything. It's just so mind blowing and so mind blasting. And all of them are like so super amazing, but I just don't even know where to stop, because as far as I could appreciate each picture for like a full quarter of an hour or so and still not get bored. So see you in the next video.